Let me begin by telling you something most men never realize until it is far too late. The riches you seek are not found in your job nor your circumstances, but in the mind that commands them. I spent more than 25 years studying the lives of 500 of the wealthiest men in the world: steel magnates, business kings, inventors, presidents, men who built empires from dust. I uncovered a secret, not of gold, but of thought, a pattern, a blueprint, and I gave it to the world in what I call the 13 Principles of Success. These principles are not suggestions, they are laws, natural, invisible, and unstoppable. If you master them, wealth is inevitable. If you ignore them, success will slip through your fingers like sand. Now, you don't have to believe me today, but I ask one thing: listen carefully. Because the man you are right now, he may not yet be rich in money, but the one who lives inside these principles, he is. And by the end of this message, you may find he was always inside you, just waiting to be awakened. Before we begin, I ask this of you: if you seek to master the mind and design a life of purpose, power, and prosperity, join us. Subscribe to this channel, not for entertainment, but for elevation. Because you won't hear gossip here. You'll hear principles that built nations. Now, let us begin the path. Principle 1: desire, the starting point of all riches. Every great fortune began with a burning desire, not a wish, not a hope, a clear, pulsating, all-consuming desire, so fierce it refused to be ignored. The first step toward riches is not action, it is not planning. It is the decision that you will possess wealth and the demand you make of yourself to achieve it. Desire is not weak, it is not passive, it is a spiritual force, a white-hot flame that begins in the heart and spreads to the mind. It becomes the reason you rise early, work late, and endure what lesser men would run from. Let me be clear: if your desire is vague, your results will be vague. A man who says, "I want money," will receive little or nothing. But the man who says, "I will earn $100,000 by this exact date, through this exact method," begins to summon forces that obey clarity and conviction. Desire must be definite, it must be emotional, it must become obsession. Every wealthy man you admire once burned with desire while he still lived in obscurity. He did not wait for motivation, he created it from his vision. He did not rely on talent, he relied on persistence. And so I ask you, what do you truly desire? Not what would be nice to have, but what you are willing to pay the price for, sacrifice for, be misunderstood for, bleed for. Until that question is answered with fire, wealth will always run from you. But once it is answered, my friend, money comes not as a miracle, but as a servant to your dominant thoughts. If you've heard your own soul whisper louder during this message, if a spark has been lit inside you, then you belong here. Subscribe now, because this is only the first key. 12 more remain, and each one brings you closer to the life you were born to create. Shall we continue? Principle 2: faith, the power to believe and receive. Faith is the bridge between desire and manifestation. Without it, your dreams are mere fantasies. But with it, mountains move, circumstances bend, and the world begins to treat you as if what you imagine is already true. Let me be plain. Faith is not found in temples or taught in schools. It is built, one thought at a time, through repetition, emotion, and certainty. You must convince your subconscious mind beyond logic that you already possess the riches you desire. This is not delusion. This is creative belief. This is mental ownership before physical possession. The men I studied, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, they did not wait until the money was in their hands to believe. They believed first, with such unwavering confidence that the world had no choice but to follow suit. Faith turns desire into certainty, and certainty reshapes your behavior, your energy, your results. It makes you magnetic. It separates the rich from the restless. If you don't believe in yourself, who will? If you hesitate, how can money find its way to you? You must declare with every fiber of your being, I am rich, I am worthy, I am ready. Say it so often, so boldly, that even fear begins to doubt itself. Faith is built through repetition, so say it in the morning, say it at night, say it when you feel broke, say it when nothing makes sense, because one day soon everything will. If this spoke to your spirit, if you felt something move within you, then do not let this moment pass. Subscribe now and let your belief compound over time. Because with each principle we unlock, your new life draws closer. Principle 3, autosuggestion, programming your mind for wealth. Your mind does not care whether you feed it gold or garbage. It accepts what you repeat. Over time, your subconscious begins to believe and then behave exactly as you have instructed. This is the power of autosuggestion, the act of planting wealth, belief, and success so deeply into your mind that you begin to live it as reality. You see, every day your mind is receiving suggestions from the news, from fearful people, from your past, from your own doubt. But what if you reverse that? What if, instead of letting the world program you with limits, you became the master of your own mind? That is what the wealthy do. They write the script, they speak their vision aloud, they declare their success long before anyone else sees it, and through repetition they convince their inner world until the outer world must catch up. Say it again and again. I am becoming wealthy because I think wealthy thoughts. My subconscious mind is creating success in everything I touch. Every day I move closer to financial freedom. Not once, not twice, but every single day, morning, noon, night, because repetition is how steel is forged, and if you want a millionaire mind, it must be molded the same way. Most men speak poverty and wonder why it surrounds them. You must speak wealth, even when you're broke, especially when you're broke. Because your words are commands, your thoughts are instructions, and your subconscious is always listening. My friend, the man who speaks with power becomes powerful. Let your mind hear the truth of your destiny until it has no choice but to fulfill it. And if this resonated, subscribe now, not for me, but so that each day your environment reflects the future you're building. The journey continues. Let us go deeper. Principle 4, specialized knowledge, the currency of the new rich. You have been told your whole life that knowledge is power, but I tell you this, only applied specific knowledge becomes wealth. There are men with degrees on their walls and nothing in their bank accounts. And there are men who mastered a single skill and bought their freedom with it. The difference? Specialization. The man who knows everything about nothing is replaceable, but the man who knows something important deeply is in demand. Specialized knowledge is the seed of your fortune, but it must be sharpened, focused. It must solve a problem. It must meet a need. And more than that, it must be used. The world is full of men who read. Few apply. You must do both. If you do not yet possess the knowledge you need, good, because that means you can now go get it. From books, from mentors, from experience. You are not limited by what you know. You are limited by what you refuse to learn. The man who becomes rich does not learn to impress. He learns to increase his value, and he increases his value until the world must pay him what he's worth. Let me ask you something. What problem are you becoming the solution to? What one skill are you sharpening until it becomes a sword? Remember, knowledge is not money, but knowledge in motion, that is a fortune in the making. The path to wealth is not found in collecting facts. It's in collecting power and using it. If this made something inside you come alive, then you are the kind of man this message was made for. Subscribe now, not for noise, but for the mental weapons we are assembling here, one principle at a time. Next, we will speak of imagination and how the unseen becomes the undeniable. Principle 5, Imagination, the workshop of the mind. Imagination is the most powerful nation you will ever rule. It is where empires are built before they exist in the world. It is where wealth is first formed in pictures, visions, ideas. Everything you see around you was once imagined. The steel towers, the banks, the fortunes, the products. They were first invisible until a man believed in them enough to build them. There are two types of imagination: synthetic imagination, where you rearrange known ideas; creative imagination, where you receive inspiration that never existed before. The truly rich use both. They study what works, then they innovate, they invent, they receive. They sit in silence until their mind delivers a breakthrough. Because the mind is not just a storage space, it is a divine workshop. And wealth is a project born in the silence of vision. When was the last time you let yourself dream boldly? Not just hope, but imagine with structure. What would your ideal day look like? How would it feel to live in total abundance? Who would you become if you were no longer bound by fear or lack? Let me tell you something. If you cannot see it in the mind, you will never hold it in your hand. But if you do see it clearly, and believe it long enough, you will command your body, your time, and your decisions to move in harmony with that picture. That is how millionaires are made, not by chance, by design. So I ask you now, will you use your imagination to relive your past or to design your future? The rich build mental blueprints, the broke replay their failures. Choose wisely. If these words are sharpening your inner vision, then stay with us. Subscribe to this channel, because what comes next is the power to make these visions real. Principle 6, Organized planning, the bridge between dream and reality. Desire without a plan is a wish. Faith without a plan is fantasy. But desire combined with an organized plan, that, my friend, is unstoppable. Let me be blunt. Every fortune begins on paper. Every empire began with a blueprint. And every rich man I ever studied was not only a dreamer, He was a strategist. You must plan your riches just as carefully as a general plans for war, step by step, with intelligence, boldness, and flexibility. And you must understand this truth. Your first plan will likely fail. So will your second, maybe your third. But it is not failure that stops a man. It is quitting. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times. Henry Ford was told he had no business sense, yet they continued to revise, to learn, to organize their plans until success obeyed them. Let me ask you, have you written your plan? Have you set a timeline for your financial goals? Have you outlined exactly how much money you intend to earn and how? Or are you still hoping things work out? Hope is not a strategy. Clarity is. You must plan your work and work your plan until it pays you in full, even if you don't know all the steps yet. Begin. Action breeds clarity. Motion reveals opportunity. Surround yourself with others who can strengthen your plan. Use a mastermind group, a principle we'll explore soon, and watch how speed multiplies. But remember, your riches do not come from waiting. They come from working a plan long after your motivation has disappeared. If you've been dreaming but not building, it's time to lay your foundation. And if you're building already but feel alone in the journey, you're not. We're building with you. Subscribe to this channel and let every new principle refine your strategy. Let every word lift your discipline. We are only halfway through. The real gold is yet to come. Principle 7, decision, the mastery of choosing without fear. Indecision is the graveyard of wealth. It is where dreams go to die, slowly, in hesitation, doubt, and second guessing. Let me tell you something you may not want to hear. Poor people make slow decisions and change them often. The rich decide quickly and rarely change their minds. Why? Because success requires certainty, and certainty is a muscle. It is built through deciding, acting, adjusting, but never stalling. The man who says maybe lives in the shadow of men who say yes or no. You do not need more time. You need more decisions, real ones, final ones. Decide today that you will be wealthy. Decide how much money you want. Decide what you're willing to give for it. Decide what must die in your life. Excuses, habits, distractions, so your wealth can be born. Do not ask the world for permission. Make your declaration. Let the world adapt to you. The weak wait for clarity. The strong create it. When Carnegie built his empire, when Rockefeller moved into oil, when Edison took on the impossible, they did not tiptoe. They decided. And from that decision came power. Even in confusion, choose. Even in fear, choose. Because every time you choose, you grow stronger. Every time you hesitate, you shrink. So I ask you now, my friend, what are you still postponing? What decision are you afraid to make? The truth is this: you will never feel 100% ready. And that's why the bold get ahead. Decide who you are. Decide what you want. Decide what you will no longer tolerate. And hold that line like your life depends on it, because it does. If this message struck you with force, it was meant to, because without decision, all the other principles collapse. So decide this too. Subscribe, lock in, and let the next lesson harden your spirit like steel. Principle 8, persistence, the iron quality that guarantees success. Nothing replaces persistence. not talent, not education, not luck. I have seen brilliant men go broke, talented men fall into obscurity. But the man who persists, who simply refuses to give up, that man always wins. Persistence is the test, the final gatekeeper between average and extraordinary, and most never make it past this gate because persistence doesn't shout. It whispers. It whispers, try again. Get up, go one more round. You say you want success. But how long are you willing to pursue it? Until it gets hard, until you're laughed at, until you feel tired, rejected, alone? Because every rich man has walked through these seasons, and they walked through them with steel in their spine. You must be willing to face repeated failure without giving up, to be ridiculed without backing down, to lose money, lose friends, lose comfort, and still keep going. Persistence means you show up whether you feel like it or not. You act without applause, push forward without permission, and keep building even when no results show up. This is not motivation, this is commitment. This is identity. You are either the kind of man who finishes or the kind who folds. If your desire is weak, your persistence will vanish. But if your desire is a burning obsession, no setback can stop you. Every no will only sharpen your yes. And let me remind you, every failure, every delay, every obstacle is testing your resolve, not to destroy you, but to determine your worthiness. So dig in, grit your teeth, and vow right now, I will not quit until I have what I came for. Say it louder. Say it like your future depends on it, because it does. If you feel the fire, if you are ready to be one of the few who don't break, subscribe, because this is the brotherhood of the persistent. And your wealth waits on the other side of your refusal to quit. Principle 9, the power of the mastermind, the alliance that builds empires. No man becomes truly rich alone. Let me say that again. No man becomes truly rich alone. You can have the vision, you can have the skill, you can have the work ethic, but without the right minds beside you, your growth will stall. Every wealthy man I ever studied had what I call a mastermind group, a council, a collective of minds aligned in purpose, integrity, and drive. It is not simply friendship, it is strategic alliance. Each mind adding strength, insight, and perspective to the others. When two or more minds come together with harmony and purpose, a third invisible mind is formed, more powerful than the sum of its parts. This is where inspiration is born. This is where resilience is amplified. This is how you go further, faster. Even the greatest leaders surround themselves with counsel. Andrew Carnegie had dozens of trusted men. Henry Ford met regularly with Edison and Firestone, and these weren't casual conversations. They were tables of transformation. So I ask you, who are you thinking with? Who sharpens your mind? Who challenges your excuses and strengthens your focus? If you're walking alone, you're already outnumbered. The right mastermind will keep you accountable, accelerate your thinking, reveal blind spots, remind you who you're becoming. And if you cannot find one yet, start with this. Surround yourself with the voices of greatness. Feed on books, speeches, and teachings that lift you into new levels. Even this video right now is a form of your temporary mastermind. But do not remain isolated. Wealth moves faster in teams. Even a single powerful ally can change your destiny. And if this message resonates with you, if you're hungry to build alongside greatness, then join this circle. Subscribe, stay close. This channel is becoming a digital mastermind for men like you. We grow together, we rise together. Principle 10, the mystery of sex transmutation, turning desire into power. Now listen closely, because what I'm about to share is not commonly taught, yet it governs the lives of powerful men. Sexual energy is not merely for pleasure. It is raw life force. And when transmuted, redirected, rechanneled, it becomes the fuel for genius, wealth, and extraordinary achievement. The most powerful men in history have learned to transform their deepest desires into unstoppable drive. They did not waste their energy chasing physical release. They learned to store it, master it, and redirect it into creation. Whether building businesses, leading nations, inventing machines, or writing books, that same energy, when transmuted, becomes fire in the soul. Sexual transmutation is the process of converting the energy of lust into ambition, into confidence, into higher purpose. It is the most potent form of self-control a man can possess. Understand this: every man is driven by desire, but the average man allows that desire to control him. The rich man uses that desire as leverage. He becomes magnetic, focused, unstoppable. This is why the most successful men have intense charisma. It is not an accident. It is the radiation of mastered energy, transmuted, directed, disciplined. So how do you use this? Guard your energy. Avoid compulsive indulgence. Redirect your thoughts toward your mission, not mere pleasure. Pour that rising heat into work, into vision, into your life's construction. Because when a man tames his passions, he begins to master the world around him. This is why so few ever build lasting success. They burn their energy on what gives them momentary pleasure instead of what gives them eternal power. But you are not here for average. You are here to rise. If this stirred something deeper in you, if you feel the calling to transcend, not just survive, then stay with us. Subscribe. Join the brotherhood. Because what we're building here is not just about money, it's about power, purpose, and the man you were meant to become. Principle 12, the brain, your broadcast tower for wealth and power. The human brain is not just a lump of gray matter. It is the most sophisticated broadcasting and receiving station known to man. Let me repeat that. Your brain is a magnet. It pulls in what you constantly think about and radiates it back into the universe. Every thought you send out, whether rich or poor, weak or powerful, goes into the ether, and thoughts of a similar nature begin to come back. This is not fantasy. It is the unseen science of thought. It is how masterminds connect. It is how opportunities suddenly appear. It is how the rich stay rich because their thoughts are constantly tuned to wealth. If you are always thinking about debt, guess what comes back? More of it. If you are constantly dwelling on lack, the signal you send out says, I am available for scarcity. But when your mind is locked onto success, when your thoughts dwell in abundance, when your emotions vibrate with confidence and vision, you start attracting people, ideas, and chances you never dreamed existed. The brain becomes even more powerful when influenced by emotion, not just cold logic, but burning desire, faith, love, sexual energy. These emotions amplify the frequency of your thought broadcasts. And remember, you are not only sending thoughts, you are receiving them too. This is why environments matter. This is why who you listen to matters. Your brain is always tuning in. So be very intentional about what station you're dialed to. If you tune your mind to wealth, you will start to feel, act, and attract like a wealthy person. If you tune your mind to purpose, the universe will rise up to meet you. You must become a conscious operator of your own mind. You are not just here to survive. You are a frequency, and the world, the resources, the relationships, the ideas are responding to your signal. So the question is, what are you broadcasting? Let your thoughts be strong. Let your faith be unshakable. Let your vision be loud, and your life will begin to echo it. If this message elevated your thinking, if you're tuning in to a life of riches and responsibility, then lock in with us. Subscribe. Share this message. Become part of the signal, because the mind is more powerful than we've been taught, and we are here to unlock its fullest potential. Principle 13, the sixth sense, the door to infinite intelligence. And now we arrive at the final principle, the most elusive, the most powerful, the one you cannot see, cannot touch, but must come to trust with every fiber of your being. The sixth sense. Call it instinct, call it divine guidance, call it the whisper of infinite intelligence. Whatever name you give it, know this: it is real. And the most successful men I studied, from Edison to Ford to Carnegie, used it. The sixth sense is the part of the mind that speaks when all logic fails. It is the flash of inspiration, the quiet warning, the sudden knowing. It cannot be forced, it cannot be explained. But when you have aligned your mind through all 12 previous principles, when your desire is clear, your faith unshakable, your plans active, your subconscious primed, the sixth sense begins to whisper. And those whispers can lead to fortune or save you from disaster. In my own life, I have followed the voice of the sixth sense when the facts said no. And time proved it right every time. Because success is not only about logic, it is not only about strategy, it is about alignment. When you are aligned, when your purpose burns like fire, when your thoughts are tuned to riches, when your faith walks ahead of your fear, then the sixth sense becomes your partner. It becomes the divine voice that builds empires. So listen carefully, and act on that whisper, even when no one else hears it. The sixth sense is not loud. It respects the man who has done the work. It shows up when you've proven your readiness. Let me be very clear. This is not the path of the ordinary. This is the path of the builders, the visionaries, the men who choose greatness. And if you've come with me this far, then you are not average. You are ready. If this final principle struck a chord, if you know there is something bigger guiding you, if you feel the fire of unseen forces walking with you, then you must continue. Subscribe, because what we build here is more than knowledge. It is intuition. It is alignment. It is the channel for greatness and for those who dare to listen. The blueprint for riches lies within you. You have now heard the 13 principles, not theories, not fantasies, but the exact blueprint followed by thousands of the world's wealthiest, wisest, and most powerful men. And here's the truth that many never grasp. Riches do not begin in your wallet. They begin in your mind. The man who trains his thoughts, who channels his emotions, who takes relentless action with unwavering faith, that man becomes unshakable. He becomes wealthy long before the world sees it. He becomes powerful long before others recognize it. He becomes the kind of man who attracts success, not chases it. So ask yourself now, have you decided what you want with burning desire? Have you chosen faith over fear? Have you taken full responsibility for your thoughts, your habits, your emotions? Or are you still hoping, still waiting, still doubting? The greatest wealth of all is knowing that you hold the pen, that every thought is a seed, that every day is a new brick in the mansion of your future. The question is not whether these principles work. The question is whether you will work them. And if you're ready to continue this journey, if you're ready to rewire your mind, sharpen your spirit, and build an unbreakable life, then I invite you, subscribe, stay with us. Because this channel is more than a collection of words. It is a brotherhood. It is a movement. It is a mirror showing you what's possible when you think and act like the man you were born to be. Think rich. Grow rich. Become rich in mind, in spirit, and in life.